Hey guys. No, I'm not outside right now. I'm actually staying in my bedroom. Well, yesterday I did a video called, TV shows that I own. And it got me to thinking, I haven't shown my DVD, my movie collection as a whole in a long time. And actually, I think I might have only done it like one time since I've had this channel. And I think I created this channel back in like 2010, so it was like one of the first movie-related videos I did on this channel, so it's been like 2.5 years since I've done a video like showing my entire collection. And I've gotten quite a few movies since then, so I decided I'll go ahead and do this real quick. So as you can see, I got all my movies lined up right here on my bed. I have to lay them against my pillow right here so they won't fall off my bed. I normally keep them in my closet over there. As you can see, the shelf is empty right now. So, let's get to it, shall we? What I'm just going to do, basically I'm just going to individually pull each of these movies out, show them. Maybe talk like very briefly about a few of them. But anyway, first up is Next of Kin, starring Patrick Swayze. The four Substitute movies. The first one stars Tom Berenger, the sequel stars Street Williams. If you're going to see only one of these, see the first one. Please, by far, see the first one. If you're going to see just one of them. Third is The Warriors. Ajax is my favorite character. Pirates of the Caribbean 2, Dead Man's Chest. I don't have the other three. Yeah, my parents got me this for Christmas like one year, about 3-4 years ago. Yeah. Princess Bride, one of my favorite movies. Yeah, I've read that the guy who wrote the book this is based on, when he found out that they were finally doing the movie, I've read he actually said that for Fezzik he almost demanded that Andre the Giant play the character, just because I've heard like when he wrote the character Fezzik in the book, that's actually who he had in mind when he wrote the character. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, next up are my comedy movies. Bedazzled, starring Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley. This is the remake, of course. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Now, this movie actually has a special place in my collection and for myself because this was the movie I consider to be the one that officially got me to buying DVDs in like 2002. And but even though this was actually the second DVD I ever bought, and here's the interesting thing for me is that not just this movie, but this specific DVD right here that you're looking at was actually the second DVD I ever bought. So this is actually the oldest movie that I own in my collection that's still playable. So just thought that was interesting to note. Next up is Bruce Almighty, which I still have not watched yet. I did a video a while back called like movies that I own that I still have not watched. This is one of the two that I showed. Okay, next up is Career Opportunities, starring Frank Whaley and Jennifer Connelly. Yeah. For some reason, John Hughes, he absolutely hated this movie. And I don't know why, because, I mean, I always enjoyed it a lot. He hated this movie so much that he actually tried to pay the studio to remove his name completely from the movie. He wanted to have no connection to this movie. I actually read an interview with the New York Times he did around when this movie came out. He actually said as much that he pretty much just didn't want to have anything to do with the movie. But anyway, movie note is Click, a more recent, well not recent, but a more modern Adam Sandler movie. It was alright. Haven't watched this in probably like 2-3 years. Yeah. Next up is one of my favorite movies, Clue the movie. Mr. Green was always my character of choice in the game. He's my favorite character in the movie too. Next up is the one Eddie Murphy movie I own, and that is Coming to America. Yeah. Okay. Dogma, the one. Well, yeah. Basically, it's one Kevin Smith movie that I own. I haven't watched this in quite some time either. It's been several years since I've watched this, so I probably need to pop it in sometime soon. To watch it. Ernest Goes to Camp, which I believe was it was one of the early Ernest movies. It's one of the movies I got for free from that old friend of mine back in 2010. Freaked. I love this movie. It's a very off the wall, obscure comedy movie. Stars quite a few people you've probably heard of, and which is surprising. It's very obscure given the number of big name people who are in this movie, like Randy Quaid and Mr. T and Brooke Shields and everything. Yeah, it's called Freak, though. I first saw this when I was 8 years old, back in the mid-90s on HBO. And this movie just stuck with me ever since. I finally I finally bought this about 2 years ago on Amazon. It's a very random, humor-wise, it's a comedy movie, and it's very, very random and off the wall as far as the humor goes. It's not a subtle movie, let's just say that. It's not slapstick or anything, but yeah, it's one of those movies you almost have to see it to really get the full gist of it. Galaxy Quest, of course, that Star Trek parody, or homage, or whatever. Ghostbusters 1 and 2. If you're wondering, the very first DVD I ever bought was the first Ghostbusters movie in 2000. It wasn't this set, but yeah, the first DVD I ever bought was Ghostbusters back in 2000. Great Outdoor, starring Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. Good movie. Mannequin 1 and 2. I also enjoy these movies a lot. Night at the Roxbury. One of the currently only 2 SNL based movies that I own. And it seems like sometimes it feels like I'm one of the very few people who actually enjoyed this movie. Even though, yeah, it's not really a great movie, but I've always enjoyed it myself. Osmosis Jones, love that movie. Yeah, I enjoy that one a lot too, in particular. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Spaceballs, which I remember when I bought this, it was kind of surprising for me, with as much of a Superman fan that I am. I actually bought this, and I remember being on vacation once, like about 3 years ago, maybe, and 3-4 years ago, I saw this in a Target, like maybe next to Superman Returns, and I actually ended up buying this one instead, surprisingly. Yeah, I own this on VHS, so this is one of those movies that I wanted to get on DVD or Blu-ray. I may very well upgrade this to Blu-ray eventually. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Next up is So I Married an Axe-Murderer. Another movie I got from that old friend of mine. Same thing with this next movie. Wayne's World 2. Still have to get the first one. And the last comedy movie that I currently own on DVD is Weekend at Bernie's. One of my favorite movies. I love this movie. I think it's one of the few movies I own that I could watch this over and over again and not get tired of it. There's only like a few movies I've ever owned that I could do that with. And that's one of them. Okay, anyway, that said, moving on. Next up is the documentaries that I own, the 3 that I own. First up is Around the Country, Cold Odor and MJ's movie they did back in 2010. Yeah, it's too bad they had that falling out and everything. Yeah, I remember saying not too long ago how it's really too bad Cold Odor doesn't seem to do these around the town videos as much as he used to. Which, I mean, I can understand. There's not really anything he can do in them and all that. It seems like after he and MJ kind of fell out, it seems like he more or less almost quit doing them like he used to. And it's like now, it's like maybe once in a great while he'll upload one. And even then, it's not really like it used to be. If you get that feeling or whatever. But I mean, I'm not complaining or anything. I mean, I still enjoy them a lot and everything. I mean, they're not bad, but I mean, but you get the idea of what I'm talking about. Like somebody said like recently, one of Cold Odor's videos, that something I didn't realize that somebody told another person that Sean actually wrote MJ on Facebook. He didn't say when, but he wrote him on Facebook, and MJ wrote back and apparently said maybe it's just best they don't talk anymore. So, well, then again, though, the thing is, I mean, I know how Sean feels because the thing is, I went through a lot of similar stuff with a guy I used to be best friends with. His name is Sunil, who I will mention again in this video in a second. I went through a lot of similar stuff with this guy that Sean did with MG. In some ways, I guess. But the thing is, I've said this like a lot of times before in the past, that it kind of freaked me out with MJ. You know, just how much MJ reminded me of this guy I used to be best friends with. In all honesty, honest to goodness, I mean, it freaked me out almost how much MJ reminded me of this guy that I used to be best friends with. Like, I'm talking like the same personality, the same mannerisms, like the same, almost like the same manner of speaking, and you know, the same, like, everything. It was freaky. I mean, it was, oh my goodness, don't even get me started. That's probably for another video though. So moving on, Dreamland. It's an Area 51 UFO documentary. This was actually the very first thing I reviewed on Amazon. I got this for free from an old friend of mine, you know, back in 2010. Okay, and last up is No Kidding, Me Too, which is a documentary Joe Pantoliano did back in like 2009, I think. Basically, it's like a mental illness documentary, and basically he got, like, he himself has like major depression, and he got like several other people together that has like one mental illness or another, and basically they all just kind of talked. Basically, they talked to their families and to the people themselves, and they all talked about like their experiences and just different stuff. Like one of the people they got to, he got was like this this surgeon who has bipolar disorder, I think, or no, ADHD was he has. There's another person that has bipolar, but it's a good documentary. Next up is Sleepers. Haven't watched this movie in a long time. Yeah, it was pretty good. The Da Vinci Code, which is another movie I got from as a gift from my parents one year for Christmas. Truthfully, it's not really my kind of movie. It's not a bad movie or anything. I mean, it's good, but I mean, it's not really my kind of movie though. Let me just say, it's probably not a movie I would have bought myself. I'm not certainly not upset I got it as a gift, but it's just not a movie I would have bought though. Yeah, I remember the Crazy Jason was once talked about in one of his videos how, like, if he gets something as a gift from somebody, he doesn't have the heart to sell it or give it away. And I told him I'm the exact same way. That if I get it, like, this came as a gift from my parents, of course, and like I just said, and like I said, it's not really my kind of movie. I just don't have the heart to sell this or give it away though, because, you know, it was a gift. That's just kind of how we are, I guess. You know. Anyway, moving on. Next up is The Dark Crystal, one of the 2 fantasy movies I own. Okay, on DVD or Blu-ray. Next up are my horror movies on DVD. The Cave. It's kind of one of those movies that came out around this time period that had somewhat similar setups and everything. The Crush, starring Alicia Silverstone and Carrie Elwes. I think this may have actually been Alicia Silverstone's first movie. I think she was like 14 when she did this, so yeah, shows you how long ago this movie was. The Demonic Toys Doll Man box set. One of only 4 movies I bought on DVD last year. Jason X. Night of the Living Dead, which this and the next movie I'm planning on getting on Blu-ray eventually. And the next one is Land of the Dead. Next up, the Dawn of the Dead remake. I remember going to see this movie. I remember going to see this in theaters when it came out with my friend Sunil, when we were still best friends and everything. Yeah, we went to see this. I enjoyed it. He hated it. Joyride, which was like the other DVD that I bought last year. Lost Boys, good vampire movie. Haven't seen the sequels, but I hear they're not too good. The AMC Monster Fest collection has 4 movies on here. Here are the movies. The 4th one stars Dennis Hopper, which I believe was like one of his earliest movies that he did way back in the day. Midnight Horror Collection, which has the first 3 Puppet Master movies, which I probably would not have bought this had I known like the entire series was out in box set, you know, like online. Probably would not have bought it, but I mean, I don't mind buying it, but yeah, whatever. I love those movies. The live-action Resident Evil movie. Still have not seen the sequels yet. Resident Evil Degeneration, which is unrelated to the live-action movies, and this one actually takes place within the games universe. See here, if I can get this out. Return of the Living Dead. Haven't watched that in a while. Trick or Treat. This is like the 80s one right here. Still, I mean, I don't know why they have Gene Simmons and Ozzy Osbourne on here, because, I mean, the thing is, they're in the movie like literally a total of like maybe 5 minutes. They're cameo roles at best. Okay, the Back to the Future trilogy. Probably 3 more movies. I may very well get on Blu-ray eventually. Okay, see here, Matrix Reloaded, Matrix Revolutions. Reloaded was the other movie I still have not watched yet. Starship Troopers 2, Terminator 2, Terminator 3, Terminator Salvation, Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, and the Darkman trilogy. Bought this for like $9 a couple of years ago. First one stars Liam Neeson. The others star Arnold Vosloo. Mystery Men. Love that movie. The Spider-Man trilogy. I think when I bought this, I believe I bought this like right before I found out that they were actually rebooting the franchise. Superman Doomsday. The 2004 Punisher. Punisher Warzone. Okay, skipping the TV shows. Now for the Blu-rays. That's all my DVDs. So, yep, that is all my DVDs right here. Like I said, skipping the TV shows now. Boondock Saints. I may pick up the sequel this year. I don't know. I'll have to see. Red Dawn. Tango and Cash. Starring Sylvester Stallone and Kurt Russell. Beetlejuice. Bought that last year. It's one of those movies it only could have worked in the 80s, I think. The Big Lebowski. Now this, it's kind of funny how I got this. If you don't remember, I actually got this. I actually won this in a contest. It was like the very first contest I entered on here on YouTube. And not only that, it was actually the very first contest that the contest holder did, who was Trey Passer, of course. I believe this was like, I got this from his 50 subscriber contest. Seems so long ago, doesn't it? This was basically when he first had just hit 50 subscribers. Yeah, I ended up winning. Okay, the Breakfast Club. Camille. If you're looking for like an atypical romantic comedy, this might be a good one to pick up. This isn't like a lot of romantic comedies that I've seen or have read about or whatever. Let's just say it involves her dying and coming back. But she's still dead. It's one of those movies. It's kind of weird to explain, but yeah, you just almost have to see it. It's kind of an unusual romantic comedy. I've actually seen some places list this as a horror comedy, which I don't know. Well, I mean, I kind of know why, but it's not. It's a romantic comedy, not a horror comedy. Anyway, moving on. Next up is the other fantasy movie that I own. This one's on Blu-ray, and that is Labyrinth. Funny story is, I actually had planned on this being my first Blu-ray, but it just didn't work out that way. So anyway, next up is Hobo with a Shotgun. 2 of them just fell off my bed. I have to go pick those up. Hobo with a Shotgun. You got this, I think, Easter. No, it was in April of 2011, I think. Yeah, I think April of 2011. It's a very graphic exploitation movie. Ernest Scared Stupid. Okay, Ernest Scared Stupid. Easily my favorite Ernest movie myself. Men in Black. Okay. Now for the horror movies I own on DVD, on Blu-ray, which actually I think are most of my Blu-rays. But first up is 28 Days Later. Bought this, summer of last year. Children of the Corn. Diary of the Dead. Yeah. Oh, I don't remember if I got that in the shot. Yeah. Kind of had the camera pointing off a little bit. So, Children of the Corn, Diary of the Dead, Survival of the Dead, which will be in my next DVD update. Just as I figured, I did my DVD update last month, and honest to goodness, I waited like a week and a half or 2 or whatever. Like as soon as I do my DVD update, the next day this comes in the mail. I knew that was going to happen. But anyway, Dawn of the Dead. Day of the Dead. Like I have these in like chronological order, if you're wondering, like the Dead movies. Next up is The Exorcist, which is actually another movie that I won in one of Trey Pastor's contests about a year or two ago, last year I think. It was actually the first time I had seen this too when I got it in the mail, so that was pretty cool. Next up is Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Next up is probably easily one of my top 5 for certainly one of my top 5 favorite horror movies. That is Tremors. I've always loved that movie. VHS. It was a alright found footage movie. Like I said, I'd watch it again. And let's see. Yeah. Okay, next up is currently one of the other 3 video game based movies that I own, and that is Street Fighter. And let me get these 3 movies that just fell off my bed. Yep. Okay. So anyway, get these straightened out. First, okay. Next up is Kick-Ass, which was actually my very first Blu-ray. Next up is the first movie I bought last year, which was Contagion. You know, a medical thriller. Kind of like it was similar to the movie Outbreak, but just maybe a bit more realistic or scary, I guess, somewhat. Yeah, Contagion. And finally, the last Blu-ray I have to show of my entire movie collection is The Crow. And yep, got that for Christmas last year. And well, there you have it, people. My entire collection. One thing I wanted to point out with Red Dawn, if you watch my DVD, one of my recent videos, I said Red Dawn was my 100th movie. Well, I realized something this morning, that I was actually going by my film aficionado database count, and I realized there may be one movie I have that I don't actually have in there. So Red Dawn may have actually not been my 100th movie. It may have actually been my 101st movie. I'll have to go look and make sure and confirm one way or the other, in a minute after I do this video. But the movie I actually bought before Red Dawn may have actually been my 100th movie, if you want to count cold ooders around the country. But anyway, I'll go check though. And anyway, that said, I know this was kind of a long video, but yeah. So if you watch this, I want to say thanks a lot for watching it. I mean, I know I don't get that many views on my videos usually as it is. I mean, I still do videos that get single-digit views, but and there are a lot of videos I can count on one hand the number of views I get on them. But so if you watch this and you got to this point, thanks for watching a lot. Thanks a lot for watching, I should say. And yeah, so I guess that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and end here before this video ends up being 25 minutes long, because I'm at 23.5 minutes now. So there's no telling how long this is going to take to upload, even on standard quality. So anyway, yeah, that's it. I'm going to go ahead in here, get this video started uploading. I'm going to go confirm that on my film aficionado thing, and I guess I'll get these back in my closet now. So until then, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.